The following is for entertainment purposes only. We are not financial advisors. We are not responsible for any losses, only the profits.
What's happening, Octo Nation? We're going to be taking a look at our user request from our Patreon. It is LAC. We've talked about them briefly before, but we are going to do a little bit more of a deep dive. I think it's time for me to get a little bit deeper, diving into lithium, right? I know quite a bit about a lot of other metals. I think it's time to find just a straight lithium play, and I think this is a great one to go after. The more I dove in, the more I kind of like it. We'll go over some pros and cons and keep rocking and rolling. This one is the Lithiums of America. This picture here looks to me like it's Nevada. Right away I was excited. Is it? I think so. Where do they have lithium at? They've got a place outside of Reno, Nevada in Thacker Pass. And then they've got a place down in South America. They've also got offices in Canada, Reno, and Atlanta in the United States. And in South America, they've got two, Buenos Aires and Chuji. They have developed 40,000 tons per acre, I believe is what that stands for. South America and Argentina. LAC and Gaffording Lithium are partnered to build and operate a lithium project down there. So the project down in South America it's kind of, I think it's about a 50-50 split between them and another company, which is kind of cool because half the risk, right? It's always good to have a partner. Construction in the Argentina project is approximately 50% complete. So they are not rock and rolling yet, but they're getting there. Significant progress in Q2 2020 was made on the limiting plant, the SX plant, and civil construction and solar evaporation bonds. And y'all thought mining was easy. You just get a pick and axe, right? Not anymore. Strong financial position. They've got approximately 75% of $565 million of capital costs spent or committed. Costs a lot of money. LAC has over $200 million in available capital to fund remaining share of the project. Unreal. Advanced large-scale and low-cost production in Nevada. That's why I love Nevada. Did you hear that? It's large, low cost, weather's good. Received notice of intent, NOI, from BLM. That is the Bureau of Land Management on Thacker Pass in January 2020. That's awesome. So they got the okay from the greenies. Draft environmental impact statement was published a couple months ago. Definitive feasibility study is expected to be completed Q4 this year on the largest known lithium resource in the United States of America. So these aren't some tiny little mines. These are like monster, huge, big boys. I like this. Assembled team with leading technical, financial, and project execution experience in the lithium industry. John Evans was appointed as a president and CEO in 2019. Prior to joining LAC, John was head of FMC's Inc. lithium division for over 5 years. So he's big in mining, big in lithium. He's got to do it. The whole team, I was looking it up. I don't want to get into it, but it seems all rock solid to me, right? So they have got a pretty low float for a mining company, which I appreciate. 91 million shares out there. Ticker in the TSX and the NYSE, I suppose, is LAC is what they're saying. Make sure and always type the name out. Make sure there's lithium in it, just to double check. The market cap they're claiming is $675 million. It's always very hugely with miners. I usually don't try to pay attention to those too much. So this mine down in Argentina, okay, it's 51 to 49% jointly owned by Griffnig Lithium and LAC. So okay, LAC actually owns 49%, which is not good. You want to be the guy who owns 51%, not the 49%. Why? Because you can make a lot more decisions without having to get the okay from Papi. The operation in Argentina, where we're going to optimize progress to improve product quality. The process optimizations designed to improve consistency and achieve more stringent, low impurity specifications of battery material consumers. So they're going big on it, right? They're getting the best stuff to try to pull as much out of the rock as they can. Already got 75% of the capital already raised for it. This is showing the other company. Does anyone ever heard of them? The Ganfeng Lithium. Looks Chinese, sounds Chinese, probably. And again, this is only in the Argentina play though. We've talked about it before, but China is smart on a lot of the mining stuff. They will come in and buy mines left and right. Anything coming out of China, the government has their hand in. This is probably a government-owned business. That's usually how they play it. The government will start multi-chain umbrella businesses. It's all owned by the government up top, and it comes down. There are combined businesses called Minera XR. The LAC shareholder rights, the 49% goes to funding plans, construction programs, they're showing here the lithium brine resources. So the large scale brine resources, they're basically showing it that it's like 4x anyone else. So the amount of rock that they want pulling out is like 4 times as much per handful, let's call it, as even the top 5 other players. It's huge. It's a big deal. Construction schedule, they're basically closing the joint venture end of this year, beginning of next year, and they said they're 50% done with construction. They've got tons of pictures of it. The big old pond construction that they have are massive. You can see it all. They've got these big, huge filling ponds. I mean, it's like you can't even see the end of it with your eye. It's like, I don't even know how long, but miles long for the ponds. It's going to be unbelievable. The Thatcher Pass, the lithium project in Nevada, is advancing the largest known lithium source in the United States. 100% owned by Lithium Nevada Corp, a wholly owned subsidiary of Lithium America. So they have an umbrella, and underneath it, one of their arms is another company, Lithium Nevada, who solely owns this one. Nearby infrastructure located near the mining town of Winnemucca. Water rights expected to exceed phase 1 production needs, so they got enough water. Adjacent to paved highway and high voltage transmission lines, 60 miles to main rail line. So they're probably thinking about using the trains for something. Long-term mining contract with North American Coal. So they've already pre-sold this, which is fantastic. North American Coal. Provide mine engineering, construction, operation, and reclamation services, as well as certain equipment, up to $50 million. They've produced over 15,000 kilograms of lithium sulfite solution. Process testing facility in Reno. So they're utilizing that. Nevada demonstrated production of high quality lithium sulfite from thicker pass ore. Definitive feasibility study, the DFS, has been underway. They're still waiting for that to get done, but I'm sure we'll be fine. Nevada just lets everything pass. Record of decision anticipated first quarter 2021 for the final permitting and draft environmental impact statements for the BLM and all that, Bureau of Land Management. And they're showing basically construction is going to beginning of next year. This is one of those, remember that graph we showed of the money being made and the risk? And then it peaks up here. This last thing, we're probably like right here at the last big run up when there's hardly any risk. We're kind of right there. So that's great. That means this thing has some room to run. They're showing that once the construction is done, the commissioning in phase 1 production target, it looks like they're going to try to be done with it in 2023, so maybe it will take 2 years to finish it. Hopefully it doesn't take that long. But at least the one in South America is ready to rock, it looks like. At least 50% done on that one. Well, that's good. This is showing the all-in sustaining cost, kind of like the gold and silver plays. This is basically just showing that they're way more profitable than most companies. Most we've got over here, we're over here, which basically means we can pull rock for less money than most, which is a big deal. So the user that brought this in, I don't know if he wants to remain anonymous, so I'm gonna leave him anonymous for now. He said, regarding LAC, I believe your estimation about the Tesla Battery Day hype leading to the rise past $11 and the market crash, plus no names being mentioned, plus Elon saying they had 10,000 acres of lithium clay / sediment during Battery Day, plus claiming to be reinventing the process, led to the sell-off. I agree with that. However, with what little research I've done, I believe LAC will likely become a huge USA producer and will have plenty of demand as they're really just getting started. Exactly, I like that. He said that there was a recent update on their USA site located in Nevada. This is from the Bureau of Land Management. They basically said The Bureau of Land Management seeks public input on their proposed Lithium Nevada Corporation Thacker Pass project. The Bureau of Land Management today released a draft environmental impact statement, analyze the potential impacts of the thing. If approved, under the Trump administration leadership, we are developing reliable domestic sources of lithium and other critical minerals, keeping the United States manufacturing capacity competitive and maintaining our nation's technology and national security edge. We welcome information from the public and stakeholders on this, said Casey Hammond. The Thacker Pass project area is located on public land adjacent to Nevada. Here's the thing, you've got to talk about politics with this, because on one side you've got the Republicans, who are usually all for mining, right? They're all for pulling rock and making money and big jobs for it. The problem is like Democrats are not for mining because they claim it's bad for the environment. You're using diesel tractors. Some mines, very rarely, I don't know any running now that can like pollute dirt or nearby rivers and stuff. Because of like the Bureau of Land Management and stuff, they have to still get past them on every mine I've seen recently. By far, I don't know of one mine that is currently like spilling into the environment and really hurting stuff. You know, there's drama with one up in Alaska, but they're saying it's totally fine. It's not going to hurt it. So there's always that play. The good thing about this play, though, is this is technically a green play. Okay, so Biden is technically going to be more on the green side of things. So he's trying to state that he wants more electronic vehicles. He's going to put bans on more gasoline stuff, and he was talking about getting more chargers throughout the rest of the United States. But Trump is also joining in, and he's like, yeah, well, I want electronic vehicles too because Lordstown. So I think they're kind of both for it. I still think that if Biden doesn't get in, I think a lot of green plays out there will kind of go down a little bit after the election. So just kind of keep that in mind. So even though this will benefit both sides, the Democrats are still always going to be complaining about mining because it's hurting Mother Nature and all that is kind of how they play it. So just something to be aware of on that. There's an article, an interview here that is talking about when these guys are set to schedule and begin on the Thacker Pass in 2021. It's the Sierra Nevada Ally. So what does this mean? They're just getting press. You know, they're getting local press saying they're getting ready to get started on everything. They should be fine. Said, I have held LAC since May when it was in the $4 to $5 range. If I was better at trading, I could have multiplied many more times off the pops since it predictability returns to its post-March long-term trajectory, which is 20 to 30% incline. It's great. Regardless of the car market, lithium will soon be a much higher demand for all sorts of things. For example, and this is great. So here's an article from Forbes talking about the Japanese Navy may have gained tactical edge with a new submarine. What does this have to do with it? In the ceremony on November 6th, Japan launched its latest submarine, the Toryuu. It is its second to be equipped with lithium-ion batteries. Japan is the first country to fill this game-changing technologies into submarines. Kind of blew my mind. I mean, duh. I mean, why haven't we thought of, a submarine? This thing is massive. Look how big this thing is. Kind of hard to see the length of it, but it looks like it's a monster. I don't know, 700 feet long or something. Running on lithium-ion batteries. So I agree. It's the future any way it goes. I mean, Republican, Democrat, they're all going to end up using it, right? Because no matter what, the U.S. is going to see the gains from it. Stuff like this, if they can be more efficient, save the military more money. What if tanks end up being like made out of lithium-ion batteries? I don't know. It's possible. He said, I hope these links spark your interest. It feels good to be a tentacle in the Octo Nation. Thought that was really cool. So congratulations. I love having this happen, right? This guy is helping. The Octo Nation helps everybody. This is fantastic. Who's already in this play? Are people already in it? I know a couple people have asked me about it. I've already talked about it a little bit, but the chart does kind of sketch me out. just Googling the name, there's a lot of articles out there. Motley Fool has talked about it 3 times in the past 3 days. Right? Because we're getting these pumps. We're getting these pumps from all the US stuff kind of going on too. Because now Trump's saying, oh, we're for electronic vehicles. He is. Because of the whole Lordstown thing, Ohio vote. Hopefully the workhorse someday. USPS, hello, you going to announce any day soon? So why I don't like it? Well, the chart, it's already run up. It's almost 2x from where it was like a month ago. $7 on up to $12.81. This could easily roll over and hurt a lot of people. We've got another big problem that I was seeing today. We've got a gap here at $9 and let's call it 40-ish cents. This gap is pretty massive and it has not been refilled yet. And if you've seen my videos, you probably know what I'm going to say now, that a lot of gaps like to get refilled, most of them. So what does that mean? This is probably got to come back down, back to this $9 again before it comes up and does its another leg north. Am I going to be a buyer right this second on here? No. If this clears this gap, that's where I'll be looking at it. Or if another catalyst does come out for lithium, some other battery thing starts happening, or Trump says something else about lithium, and how we need it for Lordstown, or how if he finally mans up and says, hey, we're gonna start doing America only mining. He has talked about that, and that's why we've been getting some run-ups. But actually do something like put bigger tariffs on importing it. Like United States just actually bought like a ton of gold. Where'd they buy it? From the Swiss. How many mines do we have in America where we could have got the gold? I don't know. I think some nationalism is good for countries. I don't think, fully owning a sector is ever healthy for a country, but I think it'd be in America's best interest for sure to follow China in the steps of nationalizing at least some mines. That way they can own the whole moat. They can put a moat around. What if they bought this thing? This would be a perfect one for them to buy. America came in and bought the Nevada stake in this. It'd be a smart thing to do for the government. And what I'm getting at is if he really starts seeing the big picture on that and he does something drastic like that, yes, I'm jumping in. I'll ride this train up. But until something like that happens, either or of those, this goes down to there, or we have another big catalyst on the way or something in the talks, they don't look at it. But I don't see anything short term happening as a catalyst unless he keeps bringing it up and we keep getting a pump from it. It's just a little bit too high of a run. If this gets closer to production though, closer to January or whatnot, it's still sitting around here maybe because we're getting closer to production. Because right now they're not even producing anything. Compared to SPACs or all the other, new companies with tickers and all that, these guys really aren't pulling rock right now, right? So how are they sitting at this market cap? I know they have the land, I know they have all that, but still, the balance sheets, I'm sure, don't look too good. Which is good because they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, but it's still just kind of a sketchy time right now. The stock market is probably one of the, I would call it the shakiest, scariest time easily within the past 20 years to be buying stuff for sure. And that's why we're mainly focusing on SPACs right now and getting in early because there's hardly any risk. There's just too much risk right now, I think, a little bit on this for me. Could it still go up? Another Trump talks about it or whatever, or Trump and Biden come out and say, yeah, we both agree to do it or something. That'd be crazy. They both kind of are. But are they ever actually going to do that where they actually pull and buy lithium from America or gold instead of from the Swiss? Let's see it. We need to see the action. There are other lithium plays. This one is great. If you want to go long term on a company for lithium, this is probably a good one. If you just want to be like, whatever, park money for at least 2 to 10 years in a lithium, this is probably a very good one to do. You got 2 big, huge monster mines. One's in one of the premium tier 1 jurisdictions. One is in a tier 3 or 4 jurisdiction. But at least you have exposure, and at least you're getting cheaper lithium probably down there in Argentina. It's just a little sketchier down there. Other lithium plays to consider. We've talked about this one. Nevada Sunrise Gold Corp in my top 10 or top 5 junior explorer gold, silver, precious metal miners to buy. If you haven't seen that video, go watch it. This is a cool play. This one, you are exposed to not only lithium, but you get copper, gold, and cobalt. Cobalt is still definitely used. Copper still definitely used with the battery. Gold still used in all electronic everything. So that's the other problem with that one up here is it's just lithium. You know, maybe a new technology comes out where they don't need lithium anymore for batteries. What's going to happen to those mines? Not good. At least like this one, you still got the gold, you still got the copper, you still got the cobalt. Cobalt's still being used. Cobalt's slowly, slightly being phased out, but not anytime in the next 10 years is it ever going to be fully phased out. Check this one out. This is an early riser. This is still in the cents, 40 cents-ish. You could have made some pretty good money if you were jumped into this one already. Anyone jump into that one already and flip anything? There's another one I just did a video solely on 5 days ago or something. Globex Mining Enterprises. Check them out. So this is a royalty play. This is the safest, one of the safest, best royalties to get in now. It's kind of that ground floor. They're kind of where they are, where they're just getting a bunch of mines ready to pop. But these guys have a ton of mines. But you're getting royalties. But these guys give you access to everything. It's not just like a gold, a silver, or a copper. It's like lithium, graphite, everything. These guys have their hand in. So check that video out if you haven't seen them. Another one is a SPAC. This is Fortress Value Acquisition Corp. This is the one that Chamath is in the pipe with, that he's hyped a couple times on Twitter. This is the California mining of neodymium magnets, the rare earth magnets. And magnets are always going to be used, as far as my knowledge goes, unless we get into hyperdimensional stuff, but won't go there right now. But these magnets are used in electronic motors. Anything from electronic motors to skateboards to Teslas. Everyone always is going to be using these magnets, as far as we know. So this is another, mining play that's in the EV sector to look at also. This one had its run up. It's sitting decent right now. It's slightly at the bottom of this channel. We drew in this other day. It's been popping above it. It gapped up. It does have this gap just like the other one now that might need to get filled. On SPACs, we clear gaps constantly because SPACs are a little bit different of a bloodline. So it might not end up having to clear this gap, but it could. It could still definitely roll over. The warrants on this are still sitting, I don't know, under $4 or no, maybe, yeah, about $3 or $4. So weigh that out. Look this one up if you haven't looked up FVAC, Fortress Value Acquisition either. This one might be a decent one to look at also. All right, we are going to be moving on here. Metamucil on Twitter. This guy's awesome. He gives us plays all the time. He said, hey man, we're enjoying your work. Here's one you might like. This one's Vivo Power International. They signed a non-binding letter of intent, LOI, to acquire 51% stake in specialist battery, electric, and off-road vehicle company Tembo 4x4 ELVBV. You guys heard of that? This is like a, I don't know, weird little Jeep utility thing. I'd like to have one to zip around, but y'all in that? Are ya? He let me know today that it actually went from $8.50 to $10.50 in a matter of 4 or 5 days. Those thanks, man. Sorry I didn't mention this yet. It was a perfect example of me just not having enough time to do another video on these things. But do you guys want me to do a video on that? Let me know. Dive into that little baby. Liversity, this guy, man, he's been with us since the beginning, slamming plays at us all the time. Hey, take a look at HYMC. It's hammered. Good time to buy for a swing. What is HYMC? I put it down here? Not yet. Let's take a look at HYMC. This is Hycroft Mining. Oh boy. So this is that monster gold and silver miner in Nevada. They had a kind of a rocky past, but now they're cleaning stuff up. They got a new CEO. She's awesome. So this is this one that, I've talked to you guys a lot about if you want to swing trade some stuff and you've tried it a little bit in the past, maybe with some penny stocks or maybe SPACs, and you've not done very well, gold and silver miners are 10 times easier to do than the latter. Why? Because they react so slow to news. Awesome news can come out. It could take a week for the stock to finally go out. Why is that good? Because you can buy in. You don't have to. With SPACs, it's like a millisecond after that news comes out. It's like 2x. But with miners, you got about a week. You get the good news. That's fantastic. I'll buy it tomorrow. Like with this, we've called this out I don't know how many times, but these runs are just absolutely massive. This last run here was like 50-ish% on your money. Anyways, this has just been melting with silver a little bit, but silver recovered a little bit today, and it started going up a little bit, but now it's sitting again at this like $1.50-ish channel here that hasn't really, it's gone below it recently. Went to $1.14. Anyone buy in there? $1 teens. Whew, good call. But regardless, this looks like a decent time to buy. Look this company up. If you haven't seen my video on Hycroft, look that baby up. Good call. One to pay attention to for sure. Slycat 88. He's always handing us deals. NHICW up 30%. That's what I keep talking about. Hennessy is a Hennessy 2.0. Have you watched my video on them? New hold. You guys watched it? Take a look at it. It's not cool yet. It's cool to me now. It's already making people money. In other news, you guys remember AMCI? This just broke news. AMCI Acquisition Court. We are cordially invited to attend the special meeting, which we refer to as a special meeting for stockholders of AMCI Acquisition. As I, and the company, we're going to have a meeting October 16th. We need to be there to vote, if you are a stockholder, to extend the deadline. If you haven't noticed lately in SPACs, a lot of people aren't voting, and it's getting sketchy. People aren't voting to extend stuff or mergers or whatever. So if y'all are in this, we need to vote. I'm gonna leave this up on my site. Here is the website to go to. If you don't know who this is, please watch my videos about them. I've done a couple of it. They're the ones who also pivoted to a green play. And they talk about, again, that they've got like a pending LOI basically with where is it? It is somewhere around Fuel Cell. There we go. Fuel Cell Technology Company for its business combination. Target developing fuel cell technology that we believe will be a key to unlocking the hydrogen economy. The completion of the transaction is to, among other matters, the completion of due diligence. So it's just to extend the deadline. They need a little bit more time. I think they're putting it out like the 16th, and they're trying to put it out to like January or February of next year. So we got to vote. They need a little bit more time. They've taken forever. They pivoted because whatever was happening, which is good. So we want this. We want them to actually bring out this fuel cell. They said it probably won't take that long till January, February to finish, but they're going to give themselves a big enough pillow. That way they don't have to ask again for like the 40th time. So that's good. Let's take a look at WorkSport. Shall we? This is not a SPAC, so it doesn't have a floor. I just wanted to point out that it finally broke this heavy channel at the 23 cents. And it's just kind of been bleeding out, not too terribly, but, it's sitting around like 18 cents, 18.5 cents. I guess we have a big flag. It's called a bull flag, I guess, coming down here. It's basically riding the channel. Suppose I could draw on at least the top for us, maybe. Something like that. Something around there. Regardless, I wouldn't call this bull until this broke back over this 23 cents. I'd wait for it to come up above here and then maybe retest it, get rejected again, and then they start coming up. If you're super long, this is the solar paneled truck bed tonneau cover company. Y'all see my video on them? I've done a couple. Check it out. They're gonna be doing the tonneau covers for Atlas. If you haven't seen that, my video on that, check that out. Those are some sweet electric trucks that are coming out. They're gonna be doing the truck beds for those to charge the batteries and stuff and have an external battery charger. It's pretty cool. But they've also got a big contract with another electronic vehicle that they still haven't announced. And so once that news finally gets out, whenever it will, this thing will moon. Guarantee it. How many other trucks are there out there that are EV? Lordstown, Rivian, who else? That's all I can think of right now. Hopefully it's one of those two. I think it is, because it sounds like a multi-million dollar contract. Take a look at KCACW. Anyone in KCAC, Kensington Capital? This one launched in LOI. It's so fast. You guys remember that? What was it? Less than a month? Less than a month it was out. Anyways, this is the battery play, right? We've got this channel here. I just want to draw it out and show you where we're at. I'd say this looks like a decent entry on the warrants. It's sitting right at like $4.35 at the bottom of the channel we have here. You definitely want to watch the $3.96 line. If we get close to that or break it, oh, not looking good. I don't think we will. This is going to be a big play. Again, the sketchy part of this is that they're not going to be, in production for at least 2 to 4-ish years or something. But it's what a lot of SPACs are looking like, right? I think so. Did anyone jump on the farming play? Are people liking that? NOVS, NOVS. People liking this? I don't know. This thing is zipped on up to 13 bucks, zipped down to 11.22. It's actually recovered pretty well. So that's good. There's no gaps that need to be refilled now. It's refilled back up, I guess. I hope this one does really well. I didn't go major on it. Like, this is an emotional play for me maybe, because I think it's awesome. If you haven't seen my videos on this, I think it's totally awesome. I think the big picture of this could be massive, getting into not only America, but all the other countries. This is like indoor farming for lettuce and tomatoes, stuff like that. Uses way less water, way less electricity. It's way better for the environment. It keeps going down the line. But are you guys in this one? Tell me what you think about it. Do you think it will ever start getting up to the 15s to 20s or something before merger? It's kind of hard to say because it's such a weird play for a SPAC, like a farm. It's cool. It's got Martha Stewart, but is Martha Stewart still cool? Maybe if this, the SPACs are getting a lot of love on MSNBC and stuff like that. They're getting a lot of hate, but they're getting a lot of love. But hate is kind of love. If you haven't noticed, even though bad stuff comes out about SPACs, it's because people really love them. They're just maybe missed out on the play or something like that. I don't know. Maybe they're mad. But SPACs are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. They're getting more and more plays. This did have something. They might need some more news to help pop this thing, because once let's call them like the blue chip investors, once they see Martha Stewart's in here, and once they listen to the story about it's pro-America, it's pro-farming, pro-land, all that, pro-jobs, universities are backing it. I mean, I technically want to go huge on this thing. I just don't know if it will hype. I'm here to make money, and I don't know if I'm really here to do full long-term plays right now either, because I'm so scared of the whole market completely crashing. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Any other plays you want me to take a look at? Put them down in the comments. If you haven't subscribed, definitely do it. Please share this video with your friends, whatever website you're on or your social media account. That definitely helps. If you want me to get to plays real fast or any quick questions, join my Patreon. I'm on there. I'm reloading it probably like 15 times a day, just looking for any questions y'all might have, trying to help you out. I'll try to get to your stuff faster than everyone else's. Try to get videos done if I think it's video worthy. We've got some good stuff going on in there. I'm also sliding you guys some plays before other people, even the ones I don't think I've talked about yet. Stuff like that. You're also getting videos a little bit earlier. I'm sure it will help out everybody in the end. All right, y'all. You have a good rest of the day. Take care.
Did you know that we give away free silver? Simply leave a comment on the video, and as long as you're in the continental United States, you can be automatically entered to win. Please friend us on Twitter and StockTwits.